Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the session. I hope you all can hear me. Just give me a minute. Thank you. I'm still adding some of our learners, so just please allow me a minute or two.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Yes, I hope you all are doing well.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hope
Yes,
you all are doing
sir.
well. I will start the topic in a minute or two. The topic for today is the personal pronouns. Yesterday, we did the reflexive and the reciprocal pronouns. We also briefly discussed the personal pronouns, but this is the basics of pronoun. Okay, so anyone who has missed the topic that we've covered in the past on pronouns, this is a good opportunity to learn something new. And for the ones who were a part of it, it'll be a quick recap as well. Okay, so we'll start the session in a minute. Not a very long topic, so I'm just allowing a maximum number of learners to, as many learners as possible, to join, because we have a lot of new learners among us. So yes, guys, I've sent the invite again. Please join. Okay. All right. So can anyone tell me what is a personal pronoun? What do we call as a personal pronoun? Anyone? Guys, anyone?
Sir,
Yes, Abhay.
Yeah, my
pronoun is place on noun.
Yeah, very good. Something that takes place of a noun, right? And why do we
Noun.
need pronoun?
Pronoun
Why do we need pronouns?
do not repeat the
Very good.
noun.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. So when I say personal pronoun, basically means it's something that is related to a person, right? A personal. So something that is related to someone's person, basically. So when you talk about personal pronouns, we also first need to look at the subject and the object pronouns, which is very important to understand the basic concept of pronouns. Okay, we'll start the topic with, okay, right, let me see if we have some new names today. Okay, Dhananjay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Please read the first slide, page 1.
A pronoun is a word or form that we can use instead of a noun or noun phrase. As for example, Richard is my colleague.
Colleague.
Richard is my colleague. Richard is a nice guy. Richard is my colleague. He is a nice guy. In the second sentence, he replaces the noun Richard. He is a pronoun. Example 2. Jim threw the paper ball. He did not mean for it to hit the teacher.
Go ahead.
In the first sentence, there are two nouns, Jim and paper ball. In the second sentence, Jim gets replaced by he and paper ball by it. He and it are both pronouns. Thank you.
You're welcome. So yes, Richard is my colleague and Richard is a nice guy. Richard is my colleague. He's a nice guy. Obviously, the second one sounds better because you don't need to repeat the name again, and you don't need to repeat names, basically. If someone does that when having a conversation with you, you'll also feel a bit awkward, right? So in order to ensure that we avoid repetition in order to avoid repetition, there is clarity, there's brevity in any language, we use pronouns, right? So obviously, he is the personal pronoun here that replaces Richard. Now, the second example is about Jim threw the paper ball. He did not mean for it to hit the teacher. Okay, so in the first sentence, there are two nouns, Jim and paper ball. In the second sentence, Jim gets replaced by he, paper ball gets replaced by it. Okay, so two things here. Basically, here it's talking in the first sentence, it's talking about Richard, the one person, okay, and he replacing Richard. So he is the pronoun. One noun, one pronoun. In the second, there are two nouns. So there are obviously two pronouns as well. One is the person Jim. The other noun is obviously paper ball. So rather than saying Jim threw the paper ball, he did not mean to hit the paper ball. He did not mean to hit the to he did not mean for the paper ball to hit the teacher. Rather than saying that and making it a long sentence by repetition, with repetition, you can simply use it in place of the paper ball. Okay, so that makes it a little more clear and easier to understand what is the context of the sentence. Okay, all right, thank you. Let's continue. Asif, can you hear me? Asif, can you hear me? Dhananjay, please be on mute. Yes, thank you. Leba, can you hear me? Leba?
Yes,
Okay, good. Just go ahead. Please read the next slide, page 2.
सर मुझे स्लाइड शो नहीं हो रहा.
कौन से पेज पर हो आप?
Yes, page number 1 अब show हो रहा.
Go ahead, read the second slide. Second.
Okay. Personal pronouns are used to represent the number of people, I, we, gender, he, she, and person, I, you. There are two types of personal pronouns, subject and object.
Very good. Thank you. Just a minute. We will continue with that. Go ahead. You can continue, Leva. Go ahead.
Types of personal pronouns, part 1. Subject pronouns, pronouns that take the place of the subject, doer, the noun doing the action of the sentence are called subject pronouns. These are I love you, I love learning English. You are my colleague. She is my client.
Go ahead.
He forgot his password. It was on the table. We have to get back to work. They work for Wipro.
Very good. Thank you. Well read. Thank you. Very loud and clear. Very good. Well read. Thank you. So yes, here we are talking about personal pronouns. The first part obviously talks about the subject pronouns. Subject is what? What is the subject of a sentence, guys? Someone who is a doer. Absolutely. Someone who is a doer. Someone who does something. Okay. So say I was playing cricket. I am the subject here in this case. So I am the personal pronoun, the subject pronoun in this case. So I love learning English. You are my colleague. You, she is my client. He, it, we, they. These are all the subject pronouns. The person, the pronoun basically refers to the subject here. That is the action. The person who is doing the action. So is the doer. So that's the first part of the personal pronoun. Okay. Arun, go ahead. Just read the table the way it is.
Subject pronouns, person first, singular, I, plural, we. Person second, singular, you, plural, you or all of you. Person third, singular, he or she or it, and plural, they.
Right. Thank you. Just a minute. Some of our learners are still joining here. Okay. All right. Yes. So this is pretty basic stuff. First person, second person, third person. Singular is I. Obviously, plural is we. Second person, you, and plural, you and all of you. And third person is obviously he, she, it, and they when it comes to plural. Exactly what the examples given here: I, you, he, she, it, we, they. Okay. So subject pronoun. Go ahead, Arun. Please read the next slide.
Types of personal pronouns, object pronouns. Object pronouns are used when the person or thing is the object, or the means the receiver of the action of the sentence or clause. An object pronoun is a word that stands for noun that is object, a noun that receives the action of the sentence. Me, can they help me? You, I will wait for you.
Go ahead.
Her.
Sir, her likha hai. Third one is her.
Sir, no, I am not able to see that. I'm
Scroll
at page
करना
number.
scroll करना पड़ेगा.
Okay. Me, can they help me? You, I will wait for you. Her, what is wrong with her? Him, Mary said she wants to help him. It, who stole it? Us, Maria will email us tomorrow. You, is anything sitting next to you?
Anyone is
Them,
anyone.
sorry, is anyone sitting next to you? Them, I will take them. For example, Nina got a job. She got a job. Here, Nina and she are subjects. Hence, she is a subject pronoun. For example, I gave Nina a job. I gave her a job. Here, Nina and her are objects. Hence, her is an object pronoun.
Very good. Thank you. So just a quick recap. When we talk about the subject pronouns, so some of our learners just joined. So when we talk about, I'll do a quick recap here. Okay. So we are talking about pronouns. Pronouns are nothing but something is a word that takes place of a noun. In order to avoid repetition, we use pronouns. Okay. So pronouns are of different types. Here we are looking at the personal pronouns, which is subject and object. Subject is the doer, someone who does the action. Object is the receiver of an action. Okay. Here we started with two examples here. In the first sentence, Richard is my colleague and Richard is a nice guy. Rather than repeating the word, instead of repeating the word Richard, the name Richard, it's better to use he is a nice guy. So in the first sentence, in the first example, there's one noun, so obviously there'll be one pronoun, which is he. In the second example, there are two nouns, so there'll be two pronouns. One is Jim threw the paper ball. Jim is the noun, paper ball is the noun in this case. He did not mean for it to hit the teacher. So he takes place of the name Jim, that is a noun Jim, and it takes place of the word paper ball. Okay. All right. Second part, we discussed the first, we discussed the number of people, basically first person, second person, third person. Okay. Here, I, we, gender, obviously he and she, and person, I and you. So when we talk about the personal pronouns here, the subject pronouns rather, the subject pronouns are these. Okay. You can just have a look quickly. These are the subject pronouns, the person who is doing the action. So the words here, I, you, she, he, it, we, they have taken place of the subject in a sentence. That take place of the subject, the doer or the noun that is doing the action in a sentence are called subject pronouns. Okay. So I किसी name की जगह पर, you किसी और name की जगह पर. Similarly, he, she, it, we, they. When we divide these into the persons, this is what we get. Obviously, first person is I, second person is you. I, you, third person, he, she, it. So that's the singular form of it. The plural form will obviously be we. When we talk about the first person, we, because it includes you, right? You or all of you will remain the same as the second person. And if it is a plural with the third person, he, she, it, you have they. Okay. So that was the subject pronouns that we looked at. Here we are looking at the object pronouns. The object pronouns are nothing but the receiver, as I mentioned, the receiver of the action of the sentence or a clause. It can be either a clause, independent, dependent clause, whatever, or it can be a complete sentence. Okay. What is the difference between an independent and a dependent clause? Guys, what is the difference between independent and dependent clause?
So dependent clause does not depend any sentence or clause.
No, the other way around. What is the difference, guys? Think your answer is not correct.
Dependent clause से comma and independent clause is full stop.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that when you say comma and full stop? I want you to explain it in a grammatical way.
Sir, may I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, when part of a sentence is depend upon the another part of the sentence is known as the dependent clause. Like when we are structuring a sentences and inserting a comma, there are another thing we insert. Then the second part of the sentence is dependent on the first part.
So sorry to interrupt. Just to correct you, rather than saying sentence, when depending on a sentence, you can say depend on another clause. That's a better way, because the sentence can have multiple clauses, right? So you cannot say the entire sentence, but you can say the dependent clause is not a complete sentence. It is known as what? The other name of dependent clause is what?
l- dependent clause is
Comma?
part of sentence. Like I went
No,
to, I went.
I'm asking you, yeah, you can give me an example later. I'm asking you what is another name of dependent clause?
No idea, sir.
Subordinate clause. Subordinate clause. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. You're giving me an example. Go ahead.
Like I went Dehradun.
Went to.
Comma. I went Dehradun. Dehradun is a.
It's a wrong sentence. It's a wrong sentence.
I went to Dehradun. Dehradun is a beautiful city.
These are two different sentences.
और
आपने जो एग्जांपल दिया दो अलग अलग इंडिपेंडेंट क्लॉजेस का एग्जांपल दिया. You can say I went to Dehradun for enjoying my holidays, or in order to enjoy my vacation, or I went to Dehradun for some work. Okay, so here you can say that. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You can say that. Okay. All right. So basically, what you mean is that the clauses depend on independent clauses to clearly express ideas. Okay, I went to Dehradun because I had some work to complete. Okay, so here you can say that dependent clause. And what is an independent clause?
when there is no relation between the clauses is known as independent clause. Like the first sentence I referred here. I went to
relation. Yeah, a better way of saying that will be something that can stand on its own as a distinct sentence. Something that can stand on its own as a sentence, as a complete sentence. Okay. So I went to Dehradun. Your sentence is right, absolutely right. So that stands as on its own as a complete sentence. So that's why it's called an independent clause. Okay. So good. Yeah. Well done, Arjun. Thank you. So yes, rather than using the word sentence, you can say clauses, because a sentence can have multiple clauses. That's fine. Okay. Good. And we know the dependent clauses are also called as subordinate clauses. Something that subordinates. Okay. Something who is a subordinate is known as a subordinate clause. Okay. So object pronouns are nothing but something are used when a person or a thing is the object, is the receiver of a sentence or a clause. That's why it's used here as a clause. Why? Because it's not necessary that when you use the object pronoun, it will be a part of a complete, sentence. It can be a part of either an independent or a dependent clause. So that's why clause is important to use here in the explanation. An object pronoun is a word that stands for a noun that is the object, the noun that receives the action. Can they help me? I will wait for you. What is wrong with her? So you look at all the examples here. Here it's used as the object pronoun. Okay. Some examples given here. Nina got a job. She got a job. Here, Nina and she are subjects, obviously, right? So that's what a subject pronoun. And I gave Nina a job. In this sentence, who is the subject? I gave her a job. Yes, Nina and her are the objects. Here, her is an object pronoun, obviously. So, gave her a job. So, the sentence replacing I gave Nina her job, I gave her a job. So, here, her and Nina are obviously the objects because I am the subject, I'm giving the job. So, who is receiving the job? Nina is the receiver. Here, in this case, Nina becomes the object. Okay. So, that's the two things. That's the two things that we discussed. The two things. One is the subject pronoun. The doer, when the pronoun replaces the subject, okay, you use it as a subject pronoun. The noun, which is the doer. And when we are talking about the receiver, the pronoun replacing the object, okay, in a sentence, that's when you call it a object pronoun. Okay, simple. Here we spoke about I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they, as the, just a quick recap. Some of our learners just joined. Subject pronoun, okay. I, you, she, he, it, we, they. Object pronoun. Me, you, her, him, it, us, you, them. Okay. All right. Let's continue. Thank you. Okay. Rashid, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Please read the next slide, page 6.
Yeah, I can see. Position of pronouns. We use object pronouns as the object of the verb immediately after the verb.
Very good.
Example number 1, can you help me, please? Here verbs help, object me, potentially receiving the help.
Good.
Second, I can hear you. Here verb Here subject. I object, you being heard.
Being heard. Good.
Third, she likes him. Here verb like, subject she, object him.
Right.
Being liked. We can also use object pronouns after preposition. Example, she is waiting for me. I will buy it for you. Don't lend it to him. Why are you staring at her?
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Well read. So yes, we talk about two things here. With the examples given here, we can use object pronouns as the object of the verb immediately after the verb. So here, obviously, sentences given are very clear. Can you help me? Help obviously is the verb. I can hear you. Here is the verb here in this case. And she likes me. Likes obviously is a verb here in this case. So if you notice, the object pronouns are used immediately after the verb. So that's a very common way of using it. You don't need to explain much. The second one is clear, that where you can use the pronouns after the preposition. So for, to, and at here are the prepositions in this case. Okay. Prepositions do what? They show a relationship between words and other words in a given sentence, right? So she is waiting for me. मेरे लिए wait कर रही है. I will buy it for you. मैं आपके लिए खरीदूंगा या खरीदूंगी. Don't lend it to him. उसे मत देना, उधार मत देना, या don't lend it to him मतलब don't give it to him, don't lend. Why are you staring at me? Basically, मुझे क्यों देख रहे हो? Okay. What is the difference between the word lend and give? Can anyone tell me? If I say don't give it to me and don't lend it to me, what is the difference in the two sentences?
Lend means udhar dena.
Very good. Very good. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Basically, lend means that when you give someone something, lend is to give someone something with an understanding that it shall be what? Returned. That is the meaning of lend. And when you give, it can also mean like a charity or a donation. Okay, when you give someone. So basically, lend means to either contribute. It also means when you talk about please lend your hand, right? So please like be help or basically add or provide or supply or basically help someone. So give someone the loan or like for example to adapt or help someone. Okay. So yes, lend here in this case means
On returnable basis.
sorry.
When you give something on returnable basis.
Yeah. So something that you expect to be returned. Yes, that's correct. Yes. Something that you expect to be returned is lend. Give can obviously mean like a donation where you give it to someone, you don't expect the person to return it, or your intention itself while giving is not to expect it to be returned. Okay. All right, let's continue. Thank you. Okay, so this is a table here. We don't need to read it. It's the same thing like the subject pronouns here. We're talking about the object pronouns. So the first person will be what? There was I. Here it will be me as singular. Plural will be us. Me and us. The plural in the subject was we. Here it's us, receiver. Okay. They were shouting at us. They were, the teacher was yelling at us. Teacher, the subject, the object here, us as the pronoun. Okay. Second person, you stays the same in the subject pronoun as well. You and all of us, that stays the same regardless of whether it's the subject or the plural or the object pronoun. Third person obviously becomes him, her, and it. So just to go back to the previous slide here. Okay. Here's the subject pronouns: I, you, he, she, it. We, you, all of you, they. Object, receiving, receiver. He, she, it. Him, her, it. They, them. We, us. I, me. You stays you. Okay. All right. Let's continue with the exercise. Mira, go ahead. Read the page 8.
I am Samartha and this is
Samantha. Start again. I am Samantha.
I am Samantha and this is Mart, my husband, live in New York. We live in New York.
Yes, I am Samantha. This is Matt, my husband. We live in New York. Here, obviously, it's talking about we together here as the subject pronoun. Okay, good. Right. Tarub, please continue.
Remind me to call my aunt. The
Very good.
second
Remind
one.
me. Absolutely. Remind me here. So here, what is understood? Here, it's understood that you're telling someone. So here, in this case, the The doer, the subject is understood. When I say remind me to call my aunt, आप किसी को कह रहे हो, but you don't say you remind me to call my aunt, right? So it's understood. It's assumed. We understand that you're talking to that person directly. So it's understood. You don't need to. You need to say that you need to remind me. If you can say you need to remind me when you are addressing a group of 3 or 4 people, and you are pointing it to someone that ये 3-4 जन में से आपको मुझे याद दिलाना होगा कि I have to make that phone call. But here, if I'm talking to that person, it's just you and me. I don't need to say you remind me to call my aunt or you need to remind me. It's understood. Please remind me or remind me to call my aunt. Understood that I'm talking to you, right? So in this case, you don't need to use the subject one in this case. Okay. Abhay, go ahead, read the next one. Abhay, you're on mute. I'm unable to hear you.
Yes, sir. I bought this pen last week and now it doesn't work.
Read it again.
I bought this pen last week and now it doesn't work.
I bought this pen last week and now it doesn't work. Yes, absolutely. It doesn't work here. You're replacing it. It is used here in place of the pen, obviously. Good. Thank you. Ajanta, go ahead, read the next one.
Yes, sir. He and me needed some rest. Yeah. First turn. Sorry, I make the mistake.
That's okay.
He and I needed some rest.
He and I needed some rest. Yes, absolutely. Yes, that's correct. In this particular sentence here, the third one, I think mistakenly see. Guys, what is the confusion here? I see a lot of incorrect responses here. He and me is not right. He and me. Kiske baare mein baat kar rahe? He and I. Okay, so here you always use, obviously, the first thing is when you're using the pronouns, you always use the other person's name first. So even if there was a noun in place of he, let's say it was Sam. Sam and I needed some rest. So उसे और मुझे दोनों को थोड़े आराम की जरूरत थी. So obviously you will use he and I there in this case. Him, he, look at it. Him and me is given. So obviously wrong combination. Him and I, again, incorrect. Him and me, not needed. He and I, उसे और मुझे, simple. Okay, needed some rest here in this case. So basically means what? We needed some rest. Okay, so don't get confused. The other sentences were, kind of a mixture of the two words, but obviously this is the right one. He and I needed some rest. हम दोनों को थोड़े आराम की जरूरत थी. That's it. Simple. Okay. All right. Thank you. Ajanta just read, right? Okay. Swati, go ahead. Read the next one.
Where are the reports? I thought I gave it to you. Oh, sorry.
Reports
Where
plural.
are
Yeah.
I thought I gave them to you.
Yeah, you can use them in this case. If it was one single report, then you could have used it.
Okay, sir.
Plural दिया इसलिए. I thought I gave them to you. I thought I gave those to you. Those are also fine. You can use, if you're referring to something as a relative pronoun, that's fine. You can use it. I thought I gave them to you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I thought I gave those to you is also fine. You can use that. Those here as a distant thing that you don't know, something that is not close to you. You can use that as well. Okay. Thank you. Swati just answered. Okay. Dipali, go ahead. Read the next one.
I don't know why I invite the Thompsons. He hate parties. They hate parties.
Start again. Pura sentence फिर से पढ़िए.
I don't know why I invite.
Invited. क्या लिखा है word? Read the word.
Okay,
Invited.
sir. Invited the Thompsons.
Invited नहीं है वो. Read it again. Invited नहीं है. मैं क्या पढ़ रहा हूँ? Invited. Start again.
Invited.
Start again.
Invited.
पूरा sentence फिर से पढ़िए.
Okay, sir. I don't know why I invited the
Thompsons. Plural है.
Thompsons. They hate parties.
Very good. So I don't know why I invited the Thompsons. So when you are referring to a family, okay, like the Smiths, the Thompsons, the Kapoors, for example, okay, or the Kumars, for example, okay, when you are referring to an individual's surname, when the entire family is what is being referred to, you can use the plural word in this case. Okay, you don't need to say, I don't know why I invited the Thompson family. Not needed. Simply saying that I don't know why I invited the Thompsons is understood that you are referring to members of that particular family. Okay, I don't know why I invited the Thompsons. Thompsons obviously is the plural here. You are referring to the family members. It will not be he, them, she. It will be they hate parties. Okay, उन्हें parties पसंद नहीं है. मुझे नहीं पता कि मैंने उन्हें क्यों invite किया. Okay, all right. Thank you. The other Dipali, go ahead. Read the next one. The other Dipali, go ahead. Read the next one.
Okay, sir.
Not you. The other one.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Dipali, you're on mute. Go ahead. Read the next one. Okay, I'll come back to you. Pooja, go ahead. Read this one.
Hello. Hello, boys and girls. If you listen to me for a minute. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Pooja. Go ahead. Dipali, I'll come to you. Pooja, go ahead.
Hello, boys and girls. Could all of you listen to me for a minute?
Yeah, very good. So the speaker is referring to everyone. Okay, is addressing everyone rather, not referring, addressing everyone. Hello, boys and girls, in a group. Like, अगर आप stage पे खड़े हो या group में हो, आप सबको refer कर रहे हो. All of you, could all of you listen to me for a minute? I want to give some instructions, maybe. Okay, so hello, boys and girls. Could they listen to me for a minute is not right, obviously, because here in the first sentence is already given that the person has already addressed the group or already addressed the crowd. So, hello, boys and girls. Could all of you listen to me for a minute? Okay. Yes, Dipali, go ahead. Read the next one.
Where would you like me to place the dinner napkins? Should I put them over here, over there?
Very good. Should I put them over there? Yeah. Should I put these? You can also say, should I put these in this case? Because it's something that is close to you. Those were the files which you did not have. Here, you already have those in your hand. So you can say, should I put these over there? These can also be used in this case. You can use them as well. Okay. All right. Thank you. Aryan, go ahead. Read the next one. Aryan, you're on mute. Go ahead. Read the next one.
The teacher scolded him and me.
The teacher scolded. Read it again.
The teacher scolded him and me.
Datna. Scold. To scold someone means to basically किसी को डांटना is called as scold. Like, you know, to reprimand someone is I'm sure most of us must have experienced that during our school days or whatever. Mostly school days. College is rather unlikely, but school days, yes. So to demonstrate or to reprimand basically someone or to rebuke someone is to scold someone. किसी को डांटना. So the teacher scolded him and me. Always use the other person first, not me and him and me. Okay. Tarub, go ahead. Read the next one.
Mark, Lisa, and I went to the park.
Mark, Lisa, and I went to the park. Again, you see here the person's names are mentioned first, and then you use the pronoun here. So, Mark, Lisa, obviously comma here after Mark, and I went to the park. Tarub,
Sir?
Can you hear me? Yes.
Sir, in the previous slide, why, sir, second one is why not correct him and I?
Read the sentence.
The teacher scolded him and me.
Who's the
And,
doer? Who's the subject in the sentence?
Teacher.
Who's the receiver?
Him and me.
So that's what I'm asking. You said, why is the second one not right? I is what? Is it a subject pronoun or an object pronoun?
Okay, sir.
Why is him and me correct? Because you are what? You are the receiver or the doer of the action?
Receiver.
So what will you use?
Him and me, sir.
Why? Because that is what? The object pronoun, not the subject pronoun. So I here is given as the subject pronoun. You got it? Why is not right? The second one?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Good.
sir.
Thank you. Yes, Tarub, go ahead. Read the next one.
Yes, sir. The money will be divided between you and me.
The money will be divided between you and me. Obviously, you are the person. So again, you is again the receiver of the money. The money is obviously the noun here in this case. You and the other person are the receiver. So you again are the receiver. So you use the object pronoun in this case. Okay. Thank you. Let's continue. Karthik, go ahead, read the next one. The next slide. Karthik, can you hear me? Karthik, you're on mute. Friska, can you hear me, Friska?
I can hear you.
Yes, thank you. Is that your first name or is Gloriana your first name? Friska should be your first name, right?
Friska is my first name.
Thank you, thank you. Go ahead, read the next slide, page 19.
I read this.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh. When not sure whether to use the subject pronoun or the object pronoun, turn the sentence around. The best student in the class is he or him. Now try turning it around. Now he or him is the best student in the class. Answer. He is the best student in the class. Hence, the correct sentence would be the best student in the class is he.
Very good, thank you. So when you're not sure, sometimes, yes, there can, thank you for reading that. So sometimes there are confusions in terms of, when, whether it's a subject pronoun or the object pronoun. You can simply turn the sentence around. When you say turn the sentence around, this is the example. Example given here is what? The best student in the class is he or him. Okay. Now try turning it around and say he or him is the best student. You clearly understand you cannot say him is the best student, right? Because here it's not about the subject. So he is the best student in the class. So obviously your answer would be the best student in the class is he. Okay, got it? This is basically just to clear the confusion with regards to the subject and the object pronoun. Sometimes people get confused. You can simply turn the sentence around, ask yourself a question, and you will get the answer, whether he or him. You obviously cannot say him is the best student in the class. He is the best student in the class. So obviously the best student in the class is he. Okay. Friska, go ahead, read the next one. Just answer the page 20.
Our boss had dinner with my friend and I.
Read it again.
Me. Sorry.
This is a mistake. Yeah. No problem.
Our boss had dinner with my friend and me.
And me, obviously, I'm the receiver of the dinner here. My boss's graciousness. So my boss had dinner with my friend and me in this case. Here it cannot be I. I had dinner with my friend and my boss is a different thing. Here it's the boss who is having dinner. You are the receiver of the action. Here you'll need to use me in this case. Okay, not I. Okay. Karthik, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, go ahead. Read the next one.
The problematic employees are they.
Yes, very good. Who? So here, if you ask yourself, who are the problematic employees? They are the problematic employees. So obviously, it'll be the problematic employees are they. We don't say it this way. Generally, the sentence should be they are the problematic employees. So whenever there are sentences like this, it's always better to be direct. Okay. Manju, go ahead. Read the next one.
May I please speak to Ginny? May I please speak
Ginny.
to Ginny?
Ginny is the name.
This is
Ginny or Ginny, whatever. Yeah.
this is she.
Okay.
Second one, sir.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. So in this sentence, may I speak to Ginny? Okay. Yes, this is she. This is she or this is her? Which is correct, guys? A lot of you have selected her in this case. Can anyone tell me why her? Why is she correct and why not her?
Because sir, there is sentence no subject directly see.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. You were saying something.
So may I?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So in this sentence, talk about the Guinea. So,
the person.
Yeah, the person.
So
see the appropriate word for it.
Yeah. So in this particular sentence, what when you look at the personal pronoun here in this case, what you are using it as what?
subject pronoun.
Excellent, very good. That is the exact answer that I was looking for. Okay, so here you are looking it as a subject pronoun, not as the object pronoun. When I say this is her means what? When you use the word this is her, you introduce it, you use that to introduce someone else. Okay, the other person. Okay, this is her, like ye wo hai. So that's when you're referring to the other person. But here the person is the one who is speaking in this case. So that's why obviously this is she. It will not be this is her. Clear? Anyone has it? Very good. Well explained. Anyone has any doubt about the sentence here?
Sir, in the first part of sentence, Guinea is in the object place and I is the subject. So in the second part of sentence, Guinea became subject. So
no, the first part, the other person is speaking. It's not you who is speaking.
I is the subject, no, sir.
The speaker. This is a phone call. So this is a literal conversation. So the speaker is telling you, may I speak to Karthik? Okay. May I speak to Karthik? So I am the subject. You are the receiver. I am talking about you. May I speak to Karthik? You are replying, yes, this is me. Okay. This is him. Okay. You got it?
Okay, sir. Okay.
This is me. This is him rather than me. This is him. Okay. So here, this is he rather in this case. Okay. So here it's the conversation that is directly given. It's not about she speaking. The person is making a phone call and the person is answering the phone call. So दो अलग-अलग conversation दिए हुए हैं. That's why. Got it?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So that's why the inverted commas here to indicate that this is a direct conversation. Okay. All right. Okay. Just give me a minute, guys. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So the example that I just gave you. So if I call you and say, may I speak to Karthik? Your answer should be what? Yes, this is him or he?
He.
Yeah, absolutely. This is he is grammatically correct, similar to this one. Okay. Thank you. Let's continue. Anyone who's yet to answer? Okay. Yes, Leba, go ahead. Read the next one.
The person who performed the best was he.
The first, can you read it again? Aapki awaaz clear nahi.
The person who performed the best was he.
She, absolutely. She is the person who best performed it. Okay. So obviously here you are using it as the subject here in this case, not as the object pronoun. Okay. Good. So basically the person is a doer in this case. Don't get confused because the sentence has been used the other way around. Okay. Some of you have made a mistake here. Just ask yourself, turn the sentence around. She is the one who performed it best. So obviously the person who performed the best was she. It will not be her. Okay. She is the doer in this case. So she is obviously the subject. Q. Okay. I don't see a name here, but I see FIFI. May I know your name, please? FJ. I'm sorry, maybe a short form. FJ is the name given here. Can you hear me? FJ is the name given here. Maybe I don't see a complete name.
Sir, actually,
yeah.
These questions are quite easy, but there are some questions in Word Power Made Easy book, sir, related to personal pronouns. They are quite challenging, sir.
Okay. Do you have an example with you?
I have that book also, but yeah. But those are quite challenging. Means they are related to whoever, whomever, like that. Whom.
That is, you are talking about the relative ones. Okay, the relative pronouns that the basic ones are that, these, those, who, whom. Okay, that is whosoever, whoever. That should be a topic that we might have. We'll discuss that definitely.
Also, this one also, sir. Me, he, I, me. Means I'll discuss one day, sir. I'll tell you one day. Those are quite challenging, sir. Questions.
No problem. When we do the exercises, you can tell me a couple of sentences. We'll be happy to discuss. Okay. What is the book that you are referring to?
Word Power Made Easy, sir.
Sorry.
Word Power Made Easy.
Yeah, I know. I think I know this. Word Power Made Easy is a very popular one. Yes, that's true. I think there are a lot of series basically. of word of series of books, that particular title, I think.
It's a vocabulary book, but at the beginning of that book, there was some quiz related to this grammar
The
question.
blue color book, is it the blue color?
I don't remember. I think red color. I think
red. Okay, I have one which is a blue one, similar title. Okay, no problem. We'll discuss that. Thank you. Vaishnavi, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Read the next slide. Page 24. Complete the sentence.
Okay. Samantha helped Tina and me finish the project.
Samantha helped nahi, helped. Read it again.
Samantha helped Tina.
Helped nahi, helped nahi. मैंने क्या pronounce किया? Helped.
Sorry. Samantha helped Tina and me finish the project.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Sir, D pronounce नहीं करना है ना?
नहीं, exactly. So the last part जो होता है वो join हो जाता है after. So largely the words जो words होते हैं जो end होते हैं D से, ED से, उसमें E gets silent. So D and the previous letter get joined. So in place of, instead of helped, you use helped. Okay, helped is how you pronounce the word. Good. So Samantha helped Tina and I. Again, you always use the name of the other person first, and then you use your name yourself. So here you are the receiver of someone's help. That is Samantha's help. You are the receiver. So obviously you use the object pronoun in this case. Okay. Good. Thank you. Let's continue. Ajanta, go ahead. Read the next one. Next slide.
Order within pronouns. In English, if I, we, you, and she, he, she, they are used in the same sentence, then the order of their usage is you followed by he, she, they, followed by I, we. Example, I, you, and he will go to London tomorrow. That is incorrect. You, he, and I will go to London tomorrow. Correct.
Very good. Yeah, exactly. The order of pronouns is what we've already discussed. Okay. So here, if I, we, so I, we, you, and he, she, they are used in the same sentence, then the order of the usage, this is a grammar rule. Just follow this. Okay. You is followed by he, she, they, followed by I, we. Sorry?
2, 3, 1.
Yes, 2, 3, 1. That is correct here in this case. Yes, absolutely. So here always followed this particular thing. The second person is referred, then the third person, and then you are talking about yourself, the first person. You should come last because you are talking about a particular order. So obviously, you should put your name at the end. So if it is a pronoun, or even if so even if you use the name, a noun, and then you use a personal pronoun, your personal pronoun will come at the end of the sentence. Okay. All right. Swati, go ahead. Read the next one. Pick the correct option.
Pick the correct option. I and he are twins. That why we look so similar. He and I are. So he and I are twins. That's why we look so similar.
Can you read the sentence again?
Yes, sir. He and I are twins. That's why we look so similar.
Very good. It's not I and he. He and I are twins. वो और मैं एक twins है. That's why we look so similar. Good, correct. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Abhay, go ahead. Read the next one. Abhay, you're on mute. I'm unable to hear you.
Yes, sir. This is a secret between you and me.
Absolutely. This is a secret between you and me. It's not me and you. Even that song, that Vodafone tune, wasn't it? You and I in this beautiful world. You use you first and not I and you. So always, even if you listen to the songs, when there's a reference to you and I, you'll always hear you as you comes first and then I. So whenever you're talking about the order, please remember this is the order to follow. Okay. Remember this. I, you, and he will go to London tomorrow. Incorrect. You, he, and I will go to London tomorrow. Okay. Always follow this order. All right. Okay. Well, guys.
Actually,
Yeah. Yeah.
There is one easy clue, sir. There is one easy clue to remember this last slide, sir. Actually, you and me means in the place of us, we can use you and me.
Yes, that's correct. That is exactly what it refers to. Yes, that is exactly what it refers to here. So this is but the reason for using this is a secret between us. What is the difference between this is a secret between us and you and me? What is the difference between these two sentences?
Means both are same. Just sir, if we separate us, it becomes you and me.
No, it's not same.
Well,
It's not same. If I say us, it can mean more than two people.
Yes, sir. But in this sentence, I'm saying if we separate us, it becomes you and me.
Yeah, that's correct. But when you're talking, when you look at a sentence individually, you don't know whether it's. So in order to determine whether it's two or more than two people, that's why you use it.
Yes,
So if this was three people, then you cannot use you and me, right? Then you need to use us. You get
No,
it?
sir. Why I told like that means in the place of us is a object pronoun. In the
Yeah.
place of object pronoun, which object pronouns we can use means you and me.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that is correct. If it's just two people that you're referring to, that's the right way of looking at it.
Yes, sir.
Correct. So this is a secret between you and me. This is a secret between us. Okay. Yeah. So grammatically correct, of course, correct. So that's what it refers to. All right. So well done, guys. Keep practicing. We will do the other pronouns, the relative pronouns, and the ones that we just mentioned, whosoever, whatsoever, etc. When we do that particular topic, we might have that. We should have that on the app. So please search for that topic. We've done the reciprocal. What was the other pronoun that we did yesterday? Reciprocal and reflexive pronouns yesterday. We did the personal pronouns. We've already done the other parts of pronoun, but types of pronouns. When we get a chance to do it again, we will definitely recap this. So well done. Thank you very much. Have a great.
Those questions are quite challenging, sir. Seriously.
I'll have a look at that. I might have if I have the PDF, I'll have a look at that. Thank you. Definitely. Thank you. So well done, guys. Have a great evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow in the afternoon. Okay. Thank you. Take care. All right.